It's times like this when I realize how much I really do love wrestling with my appetite.
Wrestlemania Monday, and welcome to episode 4 of Wrestling with My Appetite, the series where I take a look at the fun world of professional wrestling, all the while eating some of the greatest food that you'll ever find. And on episode 4, obviously, big day in wrestling because Wrestlemania just happened, night 1 and night 2. And, of course, as you saw in the beginning of the video, we've got this Romeo chicken pizza from Hobie's Sports Down, a local favorite here in Plattsburgh, New York. First time I'm doing a local favorite that's not from a chain, and I'm really excited about this because I've never actually had this pizza. But as you can see from the last episode, I love spicy chicken, and I love pizza because I mean, who doesn't love friggin' pizza? But it's basically Romeo chicken pizza is Romeo sauce, which is California Gold barbecue sauce mixed with Red Hot. It's that kind of thing. It's a Hobie signature right there. Hobie Sports Stand, by the way, in Plattsburgh, New York. And it's got some fried chicken on it, like some chicken tenders that are cut up, and then some red onion. And I believe there's a little bit of ranch on there, which I'm not a big fan of ranch, but I am very excited about this. So on this episode, I'm going to talk about. I'm not going to run down the whole show just because there's so many matches. I'm just going to talk about my favorite 5 matches from WrestleMania, going 5 to 1. 1 being my favorite, 5 being the bottom of the list. But like these are the 5 matches that I enjoyed the most at WrestleMania, and let's get to it. So before we get to the actual countdown, I just want to give an honorable mention real quick. The number 6 match that just barely missed the list. It was a great match. I really enjoyed it. The first match of the whole weekend between the Kabuki Warriors versus the team of Bliss Cross Applesauce, which is the greatest tag team of all time. Don't at me. Thought it was a really good tag team match. Maybe the best women's tag title match there's been yet. And like I said, I thought it was one of the best pure matches, like from just like a match standpoint, since wrestling started having shows with no crowd. It was one of the best matches I've seen since then, and one of the better pay-per-view matches I think of the like pure wrestling from pre-wrestling standpoint of the year. Nikki Cross I thought shined like crazy. She was a star. The Kabuki Warriors were great in their role, and Alexa Bliss is always going to be great because she's Alexa Bliss. Of course, the Bliss Cross Applesauce, because I will never call them anything else, got the win with the, what does Nikki call her thing? What does Nikki call her finisher? Something. I'll remember it later. But with the twisted, we'll call it the Twisted Bliss. Nikki did the Twisted Bliss. And then Alexa did the Sparkle Splash. Again, it will never call that. The Twisted Bliss is the Sparkle Splash. What am I talking about? But the Sparkle Splash is the name for that move, and I will never call it anything else because I love the Sparkle Splash. Regardless, happy about that. Happy Alexa and Nikki won. I think they're great together. I think the Kabuki Warriors have had a pretty solid run where maybe they weren't given enough opportunity as women's tag champs, mainly because Asuka was feuded with Becky Lynch the whole time. But regardless, I thought that was a great match, and let's try this pizza for the first time. This is a big moment in my life, guys. This is my first Romeo chicken pizza. I taste the ranch. Okay. The flavor is definitely there. That's good. So update. I just finished that slice, and I'm definitely going back for another one because that's good. That's good. And like I said, I don't like ranch. I don't. But it's hidden well on this because I like that sauce. That the Romeo. I love the Romeo sauce. I can see why it's such a favorite. It's not buffalo chicken pizza. It's not that spicy, but it's close. It's good. So on to the actual countdown. We'll go number 5. My 5th favorite match at WrestleMania would be the triple threat ladder match between John Morrison, Kofi Kingston, and Jimmy Uso. Was it Jimmy? I think it was Jimmy. Those guys went out. They did not phone it in at all. They were just crazy things happening. So and like some of the stuff like the interactions between Jimmy and Kofi, just because they've got so much history. New Day Usos is maybe the greatest tag team rivalry of all time. It's amazing every time those guys are in the ring together. Like I love when he threw him into the ladder and he goes, "Yo Kofi, I just made you like a pancake" or something. He said something like that. It was hilarious. John Morrison, man, what can you say? John Morrison, why was he not in the main event scene in WWE these last few years? Why, like, not just not signed? Why was he not in the main event scene? Because ever since he's come back, he is phenomenal. Like, that match was, I thought he was the star of the match, and Kofi and Jimmy did great too. But I thought Morrison was the star. When he did the rope walk, the C4, because that's what Morrison's always called, the C4, off the top rope. I think it was to Kofi, right? And obviously Kofi and Jimmy, like, just three guys like that. Like, it was weird, a triple threat match for the tag team titles, not a triple threat tag match. But you didn't notice. Like, that could have been for anything else, and it would have been, yeah, that was amazing, honestly. Like, those guys pulled out all the stops and had just a killer match. And some of the stuff they did, just a lot of cool things, and I was satisfied with that match thoroughly. I like the finish where they're all fighting on the ladders. They all get the titles at the same time, and they're all like, "No, I got it first. I got it first. I got it first." And then Morrison falls off onto another ladder with the titles, and because of that, he is the winner. And Miz and Morrison, hey hey ho ho, are still the champs. By the way, if you guys haven't seen it, go and watch the diss track that Miz and Morrison did on the Usos and the New Day. It's one of my favorite things I've seen this year in wrestling. It's amazing. Judge me, I'm going for a third slice. And with that, we'll go to number 4 on the countdown. Number 4, I'm going to say, is Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins. I thought that match was just a great culmination to a storyline that's been happening since Survivor Series back in November. I think Kevin Owens is one of not just the best wrestlers in the world in the ring. He's one of the best in the world at making you just care about him. As a bad guy, he's been fantastic. One of the best there's been in a long time. But since he became a good guy, especially since Survivor Series, he might be the best babyface in wrestling. Honestly, he's the just keep fighting thing. How he's had the odds stacked against him with Seth and AOP and Buddy Murphy for months and months on end, and he's had friends that have fallen. But he's gotten up every week, and he just keeps fighting, and he gets the win over Seth Rollins, which included a spot where Kevin did an elbow from the top of the stage down through the announce table in the Performance Center. That was incredible. Kevin originally won by DQ because Seth hit him with the ring bell, but another great Kevin Owens thing. He doesn't accept the DQ win because it's not what he wants. He wants a WrestleMania moment because he's never had a WrestleMania moment, and he got it. He definitely got it. And credit to Seth Rollins too, who's another one of the best wrestlers in the world. I love Seth's gear, the whole Messiah thing with that. Oh, it's Seth Rollins is very good at being unlikable, and that's in a very good way. He's really, really good. Everyone knows that, but I love the match they had. One of the few matches that I think makes you forget almost that there's no people, and I thought they knocked it out of the park. I thought it was amazing. I feel like if I had just one complaint, up the spice a little bit on the Romeo pizza. Cause I'm getting the sweetness of the red onion with the barbecue sauce. I'm just not really getting some spice, but it is very good. It's still very good. That'd be the one thing though, just up the spice a little bit. I'm not complaining though. Number 3 is what was undoubtedly my favorite match of night 1 and the most talked about match probably from the whole Mania. You know what it is just for me building it up. It's the Boneyard match between The Undertaker and AJ Styles. Big Evil, the Dead Man, the American Badass, returns, and just wow. That's one of those, like, it closed night one, main event night one, after Braun and Goldberg, and just wow. That's all like any. I think I did not see anybody. I think that didn't like this. I saw some people complaining that AJ didn't win, but AJ didn't need to win. Like, he's AJ Styles. He's maybe the best in-ring wrestler ever, maybe, and he didn't need to win that. And especially if Undertaker's, he's got the new character, not new character, it's his new old character, but riding on the motorcycle, they fight around the boneyard. It's a buried alive match, basically. Which I get why they didn't want to say buried alive match, especially with what's going on in the world right now. But, like, fighting around, the Gallows and Anderson get involved with the druids that drop from the shed. Like, AJ shit-talking Undertaker the whole time. Come on, old man. What do you got, old man? Like, AJ, I love AJ coming out of a casket for the entrance. And Undertaker shows up, and AJ is like, "I dug you a grave," and Undertaker's like, "You dug your own grave, son." But Undertaker, I get it. He's older. He's had some matches that I'm sure he's not very proud of, and that a lot of fans that just don't like. And I get that. It's just, this is the best thing Undertaker's done since his feud with Brock Lesnar, maybe. I like the Undertaker Cena stuff, and I think I like the Undertaker and Shane McMahon match, and I like the Undertaker and Roman Reigns match. I think those are good matches. It's just like, as a storyline into, like, from the promo he cut on Raw, which was amazing on AJ Styles, to this Boneyard match, Undertaker's gotten more realistic. He's gotten more of a like a work shoot aspect, and just, he continues to evolve. The Undertaker is one of the greatest wrestlers, along with Chris Jericho, I think, at evolving your character over time. And the fact that he was able to do it for this WrestleMania match, even though he's older, and I get that he's in there with AJ Styles, who's maybe the best wrestler in the world, but it was not AJ Styles carrying Undertaker. Undertaker more than pulled his weight. I liked Gallows and Anderson getting involved, and the finish, of course, Undertaker burying AJ in the grave with AJ's hand sticking out of the grave, which was just great visual. He pulls the stuff off of the tombstone, and it says, "Here lies AJ Styles." I'm not sure what that's going to be next for him, but this was great. Undertaker rides off into the sunset on his bike with his symbol in the background. Beautiful wrestling stuff, honestly. And I get that it's not a conventional wrestling match, but there's no way they could have topped that. That's one of the best things that not only Undertaker's done, that's one of the best things AJ's done in WWE. Like, it's clearly inspired by the Final Deletion, probably, and all that stuff from the Broken Hardy universe, which is amazing, and good on Matt Hardy for really changing the wrestling business and allowing these cinematic type matches to be had. But I really thought that they knocked it out of the park. I loved it. So, 5 years from now, I think this WrestleMania, once wrestling's back to normal and everything continues in the world, I think this WrestleMania will be looked back on for a few things. I think definitely Drew and Braun's title wins, definitely on there. The fact that there's no crowd, obviously. The Boneyard match. And something else, which I'll get to later. But I hope this match that I'm going to talk about now won't be forgotten, because I thought it was fantastic, and not only the best pure wrestling match of WrestleMania, but maybe the best pure wrestling match I've seen this year. And there's been some good really, really good matches this year. There was Daniel Bryan and The Fiend at Royal Rumble. There was, I think, even Becky Lynch and Asuka at Royal Rumble was great. There was Adam Cole and Tommaso Ciampa at NXT TakeOver. There was the Broserweights against Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish. There's been some really good things that happened, but maybe my favorite match of the year so far, just from a wrestling standpoint, was the NXT Women's Championship match between Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair. Wow. Like, they knocked it out of the park. I texted my friend this, and I really hope it doesn't hurt the match in this way. But I think if they had a crowd, if there was a crowd, if there was an 80,000 seat stadium, that match would be looked back on as an absolute classic. Because that's what I thought it really was. Rhea Ripley, I know some people are complaining online that Rhea Ripley didn't win. But let me tell you right now, Rhea Ripley looked like a star anyway. Charlotte working over her leg for almost the entire match. They went a long time. And when she was, like I said, working over that leg, she was selling it so well. I love one of the spots I love was when Rhea grabbed Charlotte by her hair and threw her out of the ring from the apron. That was sick. But when Charlotte's just beating on her leg and beating on her leg over and over again, all it's making me do is want Rhea Ripley to win. I got really fired up for the end of that match when Rhea's, even when she's in the figure four, she's still fighting. She's punching Charlotte's legs. And I know Charlotte won. I know Rhea lost. But a star was born in Rhea Ripley. She is phenomenal. Charlotte winning. Listen, if you don't think Charlotte deserves the accolades she's gotten, that's whatever. But I'm going to tell you right now, there has never been one time when she has not knocked it out of the park when she's gotten an opportunity like this. I get it. I know people complain about people that win a lot these days. That's just how it is in wrestling. But I can't think of a time when she's not over-delivered. Has there ever been a time when she has, just been stagnant? She's been amazing her whole career. She's one of the best wrestlers ever. I'm not just saying that. She's in the top 20 wrestlers ever. Not women, not just women. All wrestlers ever. And you can quote me on that right now. But what a match. What a job done by Charlotte. What a job done by Rhea. Fantastic stuff. And on any other show, this would have been by far my favorite match of the night. But there was one thing I liked more. So number one is, of course, the most talked about match from WrestleMania. The most loved and hated, I think, match from WrestleMania, because I've seen both sides. But I absolutely loved it. I'm, of course, talking about the Firefly Funhouse match between Bray Wyatt and John Cena. For those of you that don't know, I am a huge, one of the world's biggest Firefly Funhouse fans ever since it started. Oh my god, ever since episode 2. Because episode 1, I thought that's what he was actually doing. But episode 2, from then on... Well, looking back, I love episode 1 because I know that's not what he was doing. But the history, the callbacks, everything was beautiful. I'm also a huge John Cena fan. I will never understand the people that say he sucks or that he can't wrestle or any of that stuff because he's one of the 5 greatest. I said Charlotte's one of the 20 greatest wrestlers of all time. John Cena's one of the 5 greatest wrestlers of all time. I'll say that right there. But of course, so it starts, Cena comes out, then it cuts to Bray in the Funhouse. And then basically, it's the original Funhouse from the original episodes, not the Funhouse we've seen since the Fiend debuted. But, wow, it played off of Cena's biggest fears. It was Bray mentally destroying John Cena. And I've only watched it once. I'm going to watch it back as soon as this video's over. But basically, Bray Wyatt mentally destroyed John Cena. It starts out with Cena's debut, with Bray Wyatt's cutting the Kurt Angle promo, and Cena comes out wearing his orange and blue gear that he wore, that he used to wear, and then the whole ruthless aggression, slap but Bray ducks because he knows what's coming. Basically, there's nothing Cena can do. He's just mentally getting destroyed by Bray. Time and time again, over and over again. It's all of the things that Cena's afraid of, though. His bad debut, his rapper gimmick, if that would have failed, because that happens too. And of course, he's looking around oh, there's no reaction. What's happening? And Bray's just kind of laughing at him. And then it goes through if he would have hit Cena if Cena would have hit Bray with the chair at WrestleMania 30, because they have cult leader Bray again for a second. Then there's a Saturday Night's Main Event callback where, is Cena labeled just as the bodybuilder type? There's the NWO, which is if Cena would have turned heel, because of course Cena's basically the modern day Hulk Hogan. So if he would have turned heel, it's just, if you pay attention, I don't see how you can't love it. And then, of course, at the very end, so there's the scene is beating up Huskies the Pig Boy. He's starting to let it in. He's starting to he basically turned heel in the match. Like, no, I don't think he's ever gonna be a heel, but basically within the confines of the match, he did because he's beating up what he thought was Bray, but it turned out to be Huskies the Pig Boy. And you see all of his losses, like if Cena wins the Riot Band from One Night Stand 06, you see him losing to Punk, you see he's lost to The Rock at WrestleMania. So good. So good. And I was so confused by it. Like, I think everybody was, but I was confused in a very good way. So Bray wins, and you get that line at the end of, I'm going to erase the existence of the most overhyped, overrated something in the history of WWE, and it turns out he was talking about himself. And I don't agree with that at all. I don't think John Cena's overrated. I think he's very underrated. But just wow. That's all I can say about that match. Wow, yowie wowie. Wow. And I don't get it. I would usually say I get why people are like, I don't get it. Did you want a wrestling match? I didn't want a wrestling match. I wanted to see something fun. I wanted something I'm going to remember. Like, yes, they can come out and have a wrestling match at SummerSlam. If Cena can do it once it's back to normal. But if they went out and had a match in an empty arena, which would have just been, they have their match, which I'm sure would be fine, but it's not as memorable as this. It's so good. So good. Like, amazing. And I don't get why people can say that they didn't like it, because I loved it. It was one of my favorite wrestling things I've ever seen. Bray Wyatt, I think, has gotten the oomph back that he needed. That from when he lost to Goldberg, which I still definitely do not agree with. That should have happened, shouldn't have, but just amazing stuff. And I don't know what he's gonna do next, and I don't know if this is it for Cena. I hope not, because I love him. I don't know what Bray's gonna do next once everything's back to normal, but just wow. So yeah, with that, it looks like my appetite has been defeated because I did really enjoy the Romeo pizza. I ate half of it. Like I said, the one complaint would have been a little bit more spice, just a little bit more spice, and I would have liked it a little bit more. But it was very good as it was. Hobie Sports Stand in Plattsburgh, New York, on Margaret Street. Check them out if you're in the area. And WrestleMania, I thought, was a lot of fun and a great job to WWE. I know hating on WWE is a cool thing to do in wrestling, but a great job by them for pulling it out and just sticking with it and having a really, really fun 2 nights of wrestling that was a great distraction from everything going on in the world. And I'm glad they did it. And I'm looking forward to watching Raw tonight. I'm looking forward to NXT on Wednesday because they've got Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. I'm looking forward to AEW on Wednesday. I'm glad that wrestling can still go. I know it's pre-taped and it's not the same, but I'm glad that wrestling, at least at that level, can still go. Well, on the independent level, it's kind of stopped right now, which is to the fault of no one other than the coronavirus. But once wrestling's in for a good 2020, as soon as things stop with the coronavirus. Believe me, wrestling's in a good place right now, and I can't wait for things to get going again. I can't wait for myself. I can't wait to wrestle again, and so. Thank you guys for watching this video. Thank you for supporting Caden's Kitchen, which got a lot of views. And another episode of Caden's Kitchen will be on Thursday. Next episode of Wrestling with My Appetite will be next Monday, because that's what I'm doing now is a schedule of Mondays, Wrestling with My Appetite. Thursday is Caden's Kitchen. So stay tuned for that. Have a great night, guys. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Watch Raw. And let me in. Peace.